Hey, what's up? Today I have Law 8 of Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power, just a summary so you don't have to read this entire book. You don't even have to look at my face if you don't want to. Just some good stuff to know here. And the more you actually look into these laws, the more you will recognize how people are using these around you. I mean, some people just use these naturally. Not everyone is just easygoing and laid back. But anyways, Law 8 is make other people come to you, use bait if necessary. A judgment here, you gain control when you get another person to act. Luring your enemies with fabulous gains will force them to abandon their plans. Sidetrack people. Get them to work for you. An observance of this law, again, make other people come to you, use bait if necessary. We're going to look back to Napoleon Bonaparte. He was the first emperor of France, and in 1804, he was no longer the emperor, and the Congress in Vienna was deciding what to do with France, and they cast Napoleon away to the island of Elba, which is off of the coast of Italy, which is still pretty close to France. Europe, everything's really close in Europe. People, even though he wasn't in France, people still feared the bold and creative Napoleon. The Austrian leadership even began plotting an assassination attempt that never really went down. But on Elba, he didn't have it that bad, but it was a fraction of his former glory. I mean, they allowed him to lead a small court with a cook, pianist, courtiers, and a wardrobe mistress. So it wasn't terrible, but for him it was certainly humiliating. And then the unpredictable happened. So at this point, it was February 26th, 1815. British ships surrounded the island of Elba, and they picked up Napoleon. They brought him back to France. The army in France, the people of France, they allowed Napoleon back to the throne. And after his return to France, he got back into his ways. And I don't know if it was strictly due to Napoleon, but France went bankrupt and there was a war. The Battle of Waterloo in June 1815. This wasn't too long ago. It might sound crazy. It was only 200 years ago, which is not that long ago. The Battle of Waterloo in 1815. Napoleon was defeated. After his ingenuity on Elba, his enemies were like, no, this guy has got to go. And they sent him to St. Helena Island, off the coast of West Africa. There was no hope of escape for him. He was a great military general, but, you know, he did get people to go to him when he was on Elba, and it got him back to leadership. So we'll look into an interpretation of the law. Napoleon's confidence in reclaiming France came about when visitors in Elba claimed that France would welcome their former leader back to his throne, to his former throne. He was even notified that the English would actually let him leave the island. And you would think this would be a little red flag for Napoleon at the time. It probably was. So everyone was on board. And this went down in broad daylight when the British ships surrounded Elba and picked up Napoleon. It was broad daylight, middle of the day. Stepped on the boat, went to France, took his throne. But in the background, this was all a plot. It was expertly coordinated by chief negotiator Talleyrand to ultimately feint Napoleon into defeat. So Talleyrand knew that Napoleon would eventually lead France into another war, and given their current, more weakened state, he knew they wouldn't win. And Talleyrand, it was his grab for power. He knew with Napoleon completely out of the picture at St. Helena Island, where he would not escape, not even a chance, he knew he could take his power. So that was a great move for Talleyrand, and that was the bait. Napoleon essentially was the bait for him, and his grab for power. But that's Law 8. Make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. It's sort of complicated, but Napoleon made people come to him, and his former glory was enough to get his seat back in France. So let's look into some keys to power, some bullet points. Aggressive people are rarely in control. They don't have much foresight. They're stuck in action, and they get exhausted easily. You want to play long term, lay traps, keep calm. Do not fall for a quick victory. Take initiative that gets others to react in a defensive fashion. Master your emotions. Do not let anger influence you. Making others come to you is much more effective than aggression. Hold your tongue and keep your emotions in check, like Talleyrand. Make the opponent come to you as their journey depletes their energy while in your territory. Use your enemy's emotions and desires to blind their perception of reality. And all in all, making others come to you makes you appear powerful, and it demands respect. Quick reversal on this one. So when you don't make others come to you, when you actually go to others, the aggressive route. Sometimes it makes sense to strike aggressively and suddenly, force the issue, apply pressure, take the lead. This can force people to react without thinking. This makes the enemy respond on your terms. A conclusion: so if time is on your side and your enemy is strong, then you want to make them come to you, make them waste energy, lay traps, make sure they keep reacting on your terms. If time is lacking, then strike quickly, which will make sure your enemies don't have a chance. That's Law 8 of the 48 Laws of Power. Make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. It's complicated stuff, but hopefully that helps. If not, too bad. Y'all have a good night.